So, the film begins with a strange desolation surrounding the area. The old Gonjiam mental hospital, long closed, was the site of the hospital's famed director who murdered all the patients and then himself. Two young men determined to uncover the truth behind this hospital enter the hospital while live streaming, with a large audience watching. Excitedly, they declare to the cameras that no one can stop them. Saying this, they proceed towards room 402, which had never been opened before. As the door opens, a bell suddenly rings. The camera shakes, revealing a terrifying figure. Afterward, the two boys disappear. Everyone is distraught and disturbed. However, for a famous YouTuber, Jung, this news proves to be a blessing, as he has found a new content idea for his YouTube channel, Horror Times. He decides to explore this asylum with a live stream. His research reveals that in the 1960s, this hospital was considered the best. But then, after a strange accident that suddenly killed 50 people, the director disappeared, scaring everyone. Strange stories began to spread about this hospital, such as experiments being conducted on patients, or that the Japanese army tortured prisoners there. We will uncover the true story. A team is formed consisting of 4 girls, including 3 girls and Harjan. One of them was psychic. This means she could sense the presence of paranormal phenomena, such as jinn and ghosts, and had previously visited 3 places where jinn were actually present. Now a night scene is shown. Everyone passes in front of the hospital door, carrying their cameras and microphones. They enter with fear. The atmosphere inside was extremely dangerous. There was complete darkness everywhere, broken objects scattered everywhere, and years of dust had accumulated on them. Upon entering, everyone felt as if someone was watching them. He set up camp outside the asylum to control the live stream and, instead of entering himself, sent everyone else inside. As they checked the rooms, they discovered a strange object. Those in the laboratory, checking the entire laboratory, were horrified to discover a dead chicken inside a container. Those outside, checking the hospital, suddenly screamed because they thought a corpse was floating in the swimming pool. When they checked it with their sticks, they discovered it was just a wick. A girl wrote her name on a wall of the hospital, as this was the first dangerous experiment of her life. Under her name she wrote, "Let's live life." Now the same girl starts throwing holy water into the asylum. Meanwhile, while the other boy was explaining the situation to the audience, his connection dropped. At that very moment, the door to a room behind him suddenly opened, which was actually the director's room, whom everyone believed to be the killer. From outside, Hazen told him to go inside. He went inside and saw a picture of all the patients, and among them the director himself. It was from there that he learned that the army had permanently closed the asylum after the patients' murders. Hazen and Charlotte then spoke to the audience, informing them that they had locked the asylum from the inside. Everyone was currently standing inside the asylum's half-rooms, waiting to see what would happen to whom. After waiting for a long time, when nothing happened, they went to the director's room and began a ritual to summon the ghost. They had decorated this room extensively. They had put up numerous bells, candles, and other items that could attract spirits. Now they began their ritual. Suddenly, all the candles began to go out. All the bells they had placed there also began to ring loudly. Everyone panicked, ran outside. Their state was palpable. But then, after digging up a mountain, a rat emerged. It turned out to be a prank by Hajun's friends. Hajun, who was sitting outside, was overjoyed because their actions had increased the number of views exponentially, and people were enthusiastically liking and commenting on his live broadcast. Charlotte, who is a psychic, now begins to pressure her to act as if she has seen a ghost or something. She's contacting a ghost to get views. As she's saying this, the lights inside her own tent start flickering. She continues her work, believing her generator must have malfunctioned. Inside, the entire team is about to enter the lab where they previously found a dead chicken and a camel and kite. It's worth noting that they had seen a doll inside this same lab, and now that they've returned, the doll has been moved. This frightens both Jinan and Charlotte, who had noticed it and were not involved in the work. A member of their group tells them that the doll looks exactly like a patient whose picture she saw in the director's room. The boy, excited, tries to pick up the doll, but Charlotte stops him, warning him not to touch it. Charlotte begins to panic. Her forehead was drenched in sweat. It meant something was really going on here, and she wanted to leave the room immediately. Once she regained some control, she rejoined her group. The group of 8 split into 4 groups. 4 decided to head upstairs to room 402. 4 decided to visit the therapy room. There they noticed several containers that looked like coffins, each with a hole in the front. One boy put his hand inside the hole and pretended to be grabbed by someone from inside. He screamed loudly. This time Charlotte was terrified. She even tried to stop everyone from doing so, but no one listened. In order to gain views, they all put their hands inside the container, acting as if someone had grabbed them from inside, as per the instructions that came from outside every June. Now Charlotte is forced to do the same under all this pressure, and what she feared actually happens to her. Someone inside the coffin grabbed her hand and refused to let go. When she screamed in fear, everyone came to her aid. They pulled her together, but their strength was insufficient. Eventually, whoever was inside let go of Charlotte's hand. When Charlotte pulled her hand out, it felt as if someone had scratched it with their sharp nails. They were all terrified, so they immediately ran towards the corridor and saw that someone had grabbed Charlotte's cuff. When Charlotte reached the corridor, she saw that where she had written "Let's live" under her name, it now read "Your death," which terrified her even more. Jae-hoon and Charlotte prioritized saving their lives over money and decided to abort the mission. Charlotte weeps, recording on her camera that this might be her last recording and last vlog, as she feels like someone has lent her life, given her alcohol, and now she'll die. Hajun tells his companions outside to go and tell Hajun and Charlotte that they'll be paid more for this live stream. Perhaps hearing about the money will prevent them from aborting the mission. Before the 2 boys can reach them, they escape the asylum. But upon leaving, they get stuck in the bushes, unable to see any way forward. Hajun and his companions, who had planned to make the video paranormal, face the most terrifying events. First, they see a wheelchair moving in the storeroom, and then an invisible object attacks them, and footage of this is recorded on camera. Then a flying object flies from there and hits the boy on the head, causing him to fall unconscious. Meanwhile, as the other boy tries to leave the room, the door slams shut in his face. Outside, Charlotte and Jae-hoon smell something and notice the same dead chicken and chemicals that were inside the lab, chasing them. She panics. Just as she was about to turn back and say something to Jae-hoon, she feels herself deteriorating. When she opens her eyes, her entire vision has gone black. Terrified, she runs inside the tent, screaming. She looks outside and sees Jae-hoon standing in a corner with his flashlight, staring at the doll they had seen earlier in the lab, now at Jae-hoon's feet. She screams once more, frightened, having seen with her own eyes a creature, a ghost, that has in the blink of an eye. She was grabbed and dragged into the darkness, and then Charlotte's cries faded away. Upstairs, Hajun's employee, who had been attacked and knocked unconscious, also regains consciousness and sees his other colleagues trying to open room 402. He immediately rushes to them and tries to warn them not to do this. There are indeed ghosts here, but they don't listen. A small ball now flies towards them, and just as the door to room 402 is about to open, Charlotte's screams start piercing their ears. When the door finally opens, the entire place is engulfed in pitch darkness. Their infrared cameras, which could have seen the ghosts, start blinking rapidly, and everything else they have is cut off, and their live stream connection is lost. In the blink of an eye, the 3 of them found themselves inside a room filled with water, as if it were a swimming pool. Their fear reached its peak when they saw numerous spirits surrounding them, and then within seconds, all 3 spirits appeared in positions one after another. Hajun, who had completely lost contact with his team, went to check on his team and saw someone standing in the window. He too was afraid to enter. So he mounted a camera on a drone and sent it inside. But what was standing there was Hojun's exact form. The director's body was captured in the camera footage as it flew, frightening him. The spirit suddenly moved towards Hojun, while the scene cut to another scene. The wheelchair, which was moving on its own, came towards room 402 and attacked a boy. Outside, a live broadcast is shown, but after a long delay, everyone leaves, causing the broadcast to fail. Viewers begin commenting as if it's all fake and a drama. In the movie's post-credits scene, we see the holy water that Charlotte had placed inside the asylum boiling, proving that the asylum is truly haunted. The movie ends with this.